What's up, my beautiful hognose people? Angry Hogs with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the cons of owning hognose snakes. Why you shouldn't own hognose snakes. Alright, so let's get started. Here are the 5 reasons why you should not own hognose snakes. So this was my first pair, and something like this is going to cost you about $300. So just to stay on topic, you need to understand why you're getting into this hobby. Because I started off with her. She was my first female, and I got the male as well, so 300. Nothing special about genetic wise, but she is normal. She's a normal pattern, so just as you would find them in the wild. So I got him and her for $300. And these are just normal hog noses. They don't have any genetic stuff going on inside of them. They're not recessive for anything. They're just, this is how you would find them in the wild. So they're expensive. The pair I got for $300. And this gorgeous female is gonna cost you about $250. Just an albino conda. Then I started getting into these morphs, right? So you got the Arctic conda toffee belly. So something like this, is gonna cost about $800, $1,000. So you're looking about, you're already getting into this more expensive animal right there. And then something like this guy is gonna cost you upwards about $550. He's an Arctic super conda, 66% toffee belly. I didn't have enough, so I went ahead and got some lemon ghost, about $800, about $750, somewhere there. At the same time, I also got her about $800 as well. So that's a female right there. Especially if you get into that Wama stuff and things like that. I mean, it can get really addicting and out of control fast. So and then you start getting into these other kind of morphs. $800 right there, 1,000. Arctic super conda albino. And then this is a male right here, a super Arctic lavender. So my purpose for him is to get moonstones, and you could just see his nice pattern. He's just a beautiful snake. And something like this is gonna cost you about $1,200. So you got the prices adding up already. And then you start getting into these higher level morphs. This is an Arctic conda het Swiss. So yeah, that's going to be about a $4,000 snake right there. And then last but not least, you're going to get upwards about $7K at this point. That's not including shipping. So you got your Swiss chocolate conda. So the second reason why you don't want to own a hognose snake is because you get attached to them. So besides the monetary investment, they are your pets because you care for them. You invest time and energy, dedication, building racks, buying racks, shopping for them, buying stuff on the internet, ordering. You do all this stuff around these animals. So they're your pets, and it's really hard, and you get attached to them. So if something were to happen like to her, I'd be devastated, despite whatever she cost. Obviously my Swiss chocolate, if something were to happen to her, I'd probably cry on my knees because, these are your pets. So I think that that's a bad thing, is that you get emotionally attached to them no matter what it is. I have this basic snake. Yeah, it's basic, but it's my pet, She's just a normal. She's got nothing special genetic wise going on for her. She's just a normal wild type as you would see in the wild. But I can't get rid of her. I can't sell her. I can't sell any of my pets. So you get emotionally attached to them. And that leads me to number 3. Why you shouldn't get a hognose. Because it's a lot of work. It's responsibility. You start off with just a couple, and then you go to a whole bunch and then you go to one rack, and then you buy another rack, and then you realize that you need more space because you got babies coming. So, it's a big responsibility. Like, check that out. I got all those tuppers to wash. If one of them gets sick, I gotta attend it. And for instance, this one, just so you can get an idea of the responsibility, I gotta feed that thing scented all the time. So he's a male. He's a male ghost, and I have to scent my mice in order for him to eat. Okay, and then my female. Where is she? So I got my female lemon ghost, and she eats whenever she wants. It's not a consistent, as I would like it. It's not as consistent as I would like it. So I'm just explaining this because it's the responsibility. You don't, these are not machines. It's not like you put a coin in every 3, 4, 5 days and they eat automatically. No, like you have to know the specific needs. If you drop a mice in, you gotta like remember to come back and check, and like for instance, this is another special needs care because if you notice, she's got all kinds of stretching, going on. So she's a smaller female. She's 3 years old. She's only about 180 grams or something like that. I'm gonna double check for you guys, but she's got scale stretching, right? So she should be at that age where she's able to breed. But look at her. She's small. She's not. She's nothing compared to my other females. You know what I mean? Like that's a big female compared to her, and she's kind of she's not all the way bulked up because she's just laid eggs. But you just have to know your needs. Your needs for each snake is a big responsibility. I just had a snake that passed away. It's a big responsibility. So are you willing to take in the responsibility? And yeah, even if you have one hognose or you have 30 like I do, it doesn't matter. It's the same responsibility for each individual snake. So I have this one and I have this one. Just because this is a $7,000 animal and this is a $1,000 animal, it doesn't mean that needs 7 times more the amount of care as this one. This is a $7,000 animal and this is a $250 animal. So you can see the difference, like in price, but the responsibility is the same. If this one gets sick, guess what? I'm taking care of it. If this one gets sick, even though it's a $250 animal, I'm taking care of it. It's the same responsibility throughout your collection. It doesn't matter the price or what it is. This is about a $2,000 animal right there. So the responsibility is there, guys. So just be conscious about it. And if you want it, you can get as many responsibilities as you want. It's yours. It's your responsibility. So nobody's going to be in here telling you what to do, what not to do. You need to do this. That's obviously something that comes from you. And then another con why you shouldn't own hognose snakes is because they could be scary. And if you don't understand them, then they're going to throw you off a little bit. Like, for instance, look, like they hiss and kind of, you see, that bluff strike is going to scare a lot of people when they don't understand hognoses. So they get puffed up and they act like they're going to bite. Okay, so that's one example. Here's another example. So this guy normally he skyrockets out of the cage because he's gonna bite. Look at him. You see? So they can be scary. I mean, look at this guy. And they do bite, especially if you get up to these bigger females. Sometimes they're a little more scarier. So that's another reason why maybe if you're afraid to get bit, well, I don't think you need to be expecting it, because part of owning an animal is you're going to get bit. All animals bite, dogs, cats, birds, all animals bite. Anything that has a mouth can bite. And if you don't want to get bit, well, I don't think you should own a hognose or any kind of animal, because I think that in order to mitigate your fear, then you need to understand the behavior and you need to do more research. So if you're backed up or you're on the fence, whether, a lot of the times people ask me, oh, can you sell me a tamed animal? It's like, I don't know what that means, because, this one came tamed, he came tamed, and then all of a sudden, snakes have hunger strikes, and when they get hungry or they have a hunger response, then they'll come at you. They'll come at your finger, not intentionally, not trying to bite you, but because they're hungry. So a lot of these snakes will shoot out of their enclosure to bite whatever you're trying to feed it. And sometimes they don't understand. They don't understand if you're opening it to to, you know, grab them, weigh them, or all they know is that they assess opening my enclosure with, you're gonna feed me. And then my last reason why you shouldn't own a hognose is because they're really fragile as babies. Okay, really fragile as babies. It's not like something like a ball python. It's not like your boa. It's not like your green anacondas. Something that's already sturdy. No, they're very delicate. So if you're a person that has really strong hands and stuff like that, then they're, as babies, they're really delicate. Like, you know, this is a baby. They will be a lot smaller than this. So he's already had a few meals, but you could see, you know, sometimes they jump out of your hand, and they're just really, really, really fragile. So you just need to be okay with handling, you know, something this small. For instance, this one's in shed. Okay, so look what it does. When it's in shed, it just goes crazy. And the other day, it almost, you know, I almost dropped it. Act, you know, crazy, and it's gonna go everywhere. So I do recommend buying them as babies, but you just have to be really careful because they are fragile. If they don't all eat pinkies when they're born, they'll eat maybe pinky heads and stuff like that, pinky tails and other things. So they are picky eaters. They're fragile. Sometimes they go on hunger strikes. And if you're a type of person that doesn't have any patience, then maybe hognose isn't the best way to go. You want to go with something that munches right away on everything. Boas are notorious for being great eaters, you know. So if you don't want any problem with how fragile, or if you don't have access to live food, then maybe hognose isn't gonna be okay for you, because some of them will only eat live until they get switched into frozen thawed. So these are things you got to consider. So this is my top 5 as to you shouldn't own a hognose. If one of those is kind of in your mind and you're borderline about it, then you could do your research, keep learning, keep practicing, and then maybe you can decide later. But this is a responsibility for 15 years, so keep that in mind. All right, guys, well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next one, I'll see you guys later.